Have you ever been thrown into the deep end in front office, been given limited training with what you need to do, and then being told, go? My name is Roberto and I am here to provide you with guides, to simplify processes, to support your learning, and to give you a head start in front office. In today's video, I'm going to guide you through 5 steps which will cover the basics of checking in a guest into your property. So who is this video for and why do we need these 5 steps for the basics of check-in? Perhaps you are new to reception and you have just spent the last couple of days watching your more experienced colleagues on how to check guests in, and now it's time for you to go at it alone. It will definitely feel nerve-wracking that very first time you check in your first guest alone. You will feel like everything that you have just been taught will be thrown out the window, and then your mind will just go blank. Or maybe you're changing from a system that you are familiar with, like OnQ, to a well-known system called Opera, and you feel like you have to relearn everything. And lastly, like many others, maybe you have been furloughed and you need a recap of basic check-in operations. Well, I am here to provide you with a refresher, and for those of you who are new to reception, I'm going to show you that you can work in any hotel reception in the world using any system, and the basics are all the same. So let's get into it. Here are the 5 steps to understand the basics of check-in. Step 1, the welcome. This is the simplest step of all 5 steps. Greet your guests. Welcome them with open arms. After all, they are going to be living in your property. This is the step where there is no training required whatsoever. You just need your smile and your personality. Ask them how they are or what brings them to your hotel. Start a conversation and get to know them a little bit better. Step 2, the reservation. Ask for the guest's last name, open their reservation, and confirm 2 parts of their reservation back to them. 1, the number of nights they are staying in your hotel, and 2, the main parts that are included in their reservation, like breakfast or car parking. Before we move on to step number 3, I have a big tip for you guys. When you first start in your role, I would strongly recommend that you take a picture of your reservation screen. That way, you can study it well and highlight where the number of nights are and what is included in their reservation. When you first look at a reservation screen, there is so much information on there that it can be quite overwhelming and quite confusing as well. So let's simplify it by taking that picture and then pinpointing where the information is that you actually need to know about. Step 3, payment guarantee. Now you need to check who is paying for the reservation. Is it the guests themselves or is someone else paying for them? This is very important as it will determine how much you are going to authorize on the guest debit card or credit card. Once you know who is paying for the reservation, go ahead and take the authorization on the guest card. This is usually done on a PDQ machine or directly onto your system. A well-organized front office team with new starters would usually use codes to help them out. For example, if you saw the code POA, this will stand for Pay Own Account, meaning the guests themselves will be paying for their reservation. I will be releasing a video soon on how to use codes similar to POA. That way it will help you further and give you extra confidence in knowing who is paying for the reservation. So guys, subscribe to my new channel and hit that notification bell if you want to be notified of when that video comes out. Now I must say this is the most challenging part of all of the 5 steps. Why? Because this is where you have to learn who is paying for the reservation. If you have the codes, then great, you'll know straight away. But if you don't, then unfortunately this is one of those things that you'll just learn through experience. But please do not worry. My goodness, the amount of mistakes that I made when I first started out in reception, I didn't know who was paying for what. But it is okay, because in the future, you'll get so used to it that as soon as you open up the reservation, you'll know straight away who is paying for it. And guys, if you really are still that worried about it, then I've got another big tip for you guys. When you first start out, open up your arrivals and go through them one by one. As you open up the reservations, take a note of who you believe is paying for the reservation. Then when you've got your list, give that to a more experienced colleague of yours and ask them, is this correct? And then you can give yourself a score. Do this every single day, and within practice, you'll get to know who is paying for the reservation. Step 4, the guest's room. Next, allocate the guest a clean room and give them 2 keys. Even if it's just one person, give them 2 keys anyway, it's just good practice. Do you remember my first tip about taking a picture of the reservation screen? Well, this would be another part that you would highlight, where you would actually select the room for the guest. The system should only allow you to allocate clean rooms, so you should feel safe here. Just remember where it is on the reservation screen. Step 5, hotel information. This is the last step. All you need to do now is tell the guests how to get to their room and explain to them the main facilities that you have in your hotel. Usually this would be where the restaurant is, so where they're going to be having dinner and breakfast, and if you've got one, where the gym is. It's also good practice to let them know what the number is to dial reception. That way, if they have any further questions once they've got up to their room, they know how to get in touch with you. That's it! 5 steps done. The welcome, the reservation, payment guarantee, the guest's room, and hotel information. Follow these 5 basic steps for check-in and you will successfully check in a guest into your hotel. So we have just simplified what can be seen as a complicated process. Steps 1 and 5, the beginning and the end, is where there is barely any training required. Just your smile, your personality, and basic information about the hotel. Steps 2, 3, and 4, the middle steps, those are the steps that you need to get right. If you follow these 5 basic steps and my tips that go along with it, it will accelerate your learning and give you that head start in front office, and it will make you feel more confident and more comfortable on reception. Don't forget to take the picture of your reservation screen, that way when it's your time to shine, you'll know exactly where you need to look. Remember, this isn't the full list. Some hotels have a 20-point checklist to make sure everything is covered. Do not worry. You will get to that point way sooner than you think. I'd be a happy and proud manager knowing that you took as much time as you needed for the basics, as long as you did it with a very warm welcome and a pleasant farewell. This cheat sheet is something I give to new starters to help them feel more comfortable when they are on reception by themselves. If you would like a copy so that you can print one out for yourself, drop me an email using this email address here and I'll happily share it with you. Remember, it's perfectly okay to make mistakes. Actually, I encourage you to make mistakes as long as you learn from them. Until next time.